And start recording our presentation for us now. And here we are on our book club site. So let's just kind of review what we have been doing this entire semester. Our enduring understanding was that humans use strategy to construct meaning. And the way that we really applied this to reading was using all of those reading strategies to make meaning of our text. Some of the jobs that you did were summarizing, questioning, which was the discussion leader job, illustrating, and then choosing and analyzing key vocabulary words and parts of the story. So those were all reading strategies that we've been working on. Of course, our main goals were our world-class outcomes. And if we just kind of review these, let's take a look at number one. And today we're going to really get to demonstrate our understanding of these world-class outcomes that we've been focusing on. For number one, you're going to be presenting your creative representation of the greater theme of our novel and just important parts from the text. For our world-class outcome number two, this entire semester, we've spent a lot of time thinking critically about our classmates' ideas and all of the discussion questions. But today, we're going to take it a step further, and we're going to be analyzing the images and the music and the words chosen by our classmates as they created their final presentations. And then finally, for our third world-class outcome, we've collaborated on several occasions through our shared writing pieces and our discussions. And then recently, we've spent a lot of time on Edmodo, sharing our ideas and questions for our final project. So here we are, ready to get started. And I know most of you have already, well, all of you have already seen this, but we have a couple special guests here today. So I just want to make sure that they know how we're going to be graded on this particular project and that you have had your rubric since the very beginning. So the different categories that you're going to be graded on were the awareness of the audience. And we talked a lot about the audience being, of course, your classmates, the people who would read the book with you, and then me. The duration of your presentation, so hopefully you used all 30 seconds and used those 30 seconds well by choosing important images. And then, of course, the images you chose. We are hoping those images portray the tone that you wanted to show us, as well as some symbolism that we talked about. And last but not least, the soundtrack that you chose that we're hoping really fits in with your story and your particular images. All right. Oh, and welcome Corbin. So he has joined us today as well. Fantastic. So we are ready to go. Here's what I'd like you to be thinking of as people are presenting. I want you to make sure you think of at least one compliment you can give your classmates. And then when you are the presenter, I definitely want you to be prepared to discuss your images and why you chose them. Okay. All right. With all of that being said, do I have any volunteers to go first? And I do have my chat open, so you can type into the chat as well. Your microphones are on, so you can go ahead and speak up. Any volunteers? Kaylee, yes, you're never too shy. Would you mind going first?
I can go first.
Okay, was that you, Kaylee?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Kaylee, you actually turned yours in on Edmodo, so I'm going to go ahead and just find it on our site. Most people have it up on their screen as well, so that's another way we can do this. But let's go to your project, and here we go.
So they worked together to brainstorm.
Goes a little faster. All right. So let's start with a compliment for Kaylee. Jeremy, you're saying thumbs up. What did you like about it?
I just liked it very much. It's really cool.
I really liked the soundtrack that she chose. I thought it was pretty upbeat for our story. Let's just talk about that theme of our story. And okay, Ashley just put into the chat. She liked that she showed all of the characters, and she also liked the soundtrack. I also enjoyed that she put a picture of the author on there. That's something that a lot of students didn't think about. But just going back to that theme that we've discussed about the Watsons go to Birmingham, really the most important thing was about the importance of family in this book. Throughout the entire story, it really engages you in the life of the Watsons to where you forget about their race and you're really kind of part of their family. Um, but then that important part of the book where the bombing takes place, that really brings you back to the reality of 1963 and the civil rights era. So we kind of discussed this last week, but there were two main themes, and that was the importance of family and then also the struggles that people were going through in that civil rights era. And this was the African American family who faced several challenges. So, with that being said, Kaylee, can you tell me why you chose the images that you chose?
I chose them because I thought they like explain the book, sort of.
No, I think they did explain the book. Did you choose any images that had symbolism in them?
Yes, the map of Flint was just to represent Flint, not like to where you find Flint, just to represent it.
Okay, so you represented an important part of the book by showing a map. Very good. So, what was important about Flint versus Birmingham?
Um, well, I thought I put a map up for me, might not have.
Right. Well, okay, answer this
I
question.
guess.
Oh, go ahead. How was
Um,
their life different in Flint than their life in Birmingham?
well, in Birmingham, there was a lot more excitement than in Flint.
Right. There
And
was a
in
lot more
Flint,
excitement.
Byron was like more of a bully.
Right. There was a lot more excitement around the civil rights era, and that's really where they had to learn about the struggles that people like them were really facing. Um, very good. All right. Any other compliments for Kaylee? Okay, well, then we will move on. I got into the chat, and it looks like Christian would like to go next. So let's go ahead and pull up Christian's. Christian, you said that you turned it in on Edmodo as well, so I'll find it. Okay, let's go down here. Um, Christian, I'm not seeing it, so can I make you the presenter?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. All right, so you are going to be showing your screen.
Okay, is it up?
It takes just a second, but I'm sure it is coming up. Did you click the button that said make me the presenter?
Yeah.
Okay, there it is.
Okay.
All right, very nice, Christian. Anybody have a compliment that they would like to give him? Yeah, go ahead, Jeremy.
I like the soundtrack she picked for, or yeah, for the
I agree. And actually, I had a question about the soundtrack, Christian. Why did you choose this particular soundtrack?
I said she.
Because it went along with the upbeat story.
Okay, so you chose to focus a little bit more on the upbeat side of the story. So maybe more about the importance of family than not so much the struggles that were presented in the book with the civil rights era. All right. Very good. Anyone else have a compliment? And remember, you can send him a message in the chat, and that's another way you could communicate with Christian. And Corbin says that he really likes the background that you chose. That's perfect. All right. Oops. So I am going to, Kaylee, are you there? Would you like to share yours next?
Sure.
Okay, so then I'm going to keep you guys as the presenters, and we're ready whenever you are.
Should I start?
Yep. Okay, it's taking a minute to load, but that's all right. Wow, very good. So Kaylee, you definitely chose some different images than your brother. That was good. Why did you choose the images that you chose?
I thought it really told the story and what they were doing and everything and showed what their family was about.
Right, very good. So let's take a compliment for Kaylee. Anybody? Yeah, go ahead, Jeremy.
I just want to say that was great. I had the same background or whatever, and
Yeah, you chose the same background for your movie. And Ashley has said that she liked how you showed the places that they were going. Yeah, you definitely did show a few different images of Birmingham and the maps. So you thought that that was an important part of the book. But Keely, I noticed something cool. I think you had some symbolism in there as well. What image showed symbolism?
Um, I don't know.
Well, what about that image that you chose of the church bombing? Tell me a little bit about that one and why you chose it.
Because I think it traumatized, um, what's his name again?
Kenny.
Kenny.
hmm Yeah, it did. It
So that was a,
traumatized Kenny. And so you thought that that was an important part to demonstrate. That was not an image that was from the book. That was an image that you went out and found on your own. So that was great. All right. So I'm getting a little bit of feedback. I'm going to make sure that I mute a couple people here because it's kind of distracting. But I got a message in the chat that Corbin would like to go next. And so after Corbin, we will take Ashley because she was our next volunteer. So let's go ahead and I'm going to pull up Corbin's video. All right, guys. So be thinking of a compliment for Corbin. and watch for symbolism in his presentation. All right. So that was very good. Anybody have a compliment for Corbin? And Kaylee S says that she liked the soundtrack and all of the pictures. I really liked the background that he chose. That was pretty interesting. Kind of more of that old type of feeling, and this was, an older story. And I have Corbin's answers. I asked him a couple questions about why he chose the images that he did, and he said that he thought that they really portrayed the characters well, and he thought that the setting was important. And I agree, the setting definitely was important to the story because of that civil rights era that we were dealing with. And down in the South, they had to deal with more things than they were dealing with up in Flint, Michigan. All right. So let's go ahead and if you would do me a favor and go ahead and mute yourselves um, because I am still getting a little bit of feedback. All right. So let's have Ashley go ahead and pull up your screen and we will move on to Ashley's presentation. So Ashley, you're going to see something that says make me the presenter. Go ahead and click OK.
Is it showing?
It is. There you go.
Okay.
There it is. Okay. Sorry, these take a minute to load.
It's got you out of control. So beside you when you lose me so you listen when you're looking below. You're passing lonely when you're all by yourself. We're home. We're home. 'Cause I won't break, won't shake, won't slow, won't fall.
Wow, that was pretty good. That was awesome. You chose a lot of different types of pictures. Why did you well first let's give Ashley a compliment. Anybody? Let's see. Kaylee S says it really retold the story. Very good. And Corbin said that he liked the pictures that you chose. And Jeremy, do you have a thought?
I like the background. It was really neat.
I like the background too. And you know what I really liked is that she chose some images that showed a lot of symbolism. There were pictures of the bombing and some of the civil rights era. So let's ask Ashley. Ashley, why did you choose the images that you chose? Oh, sorry, Ashley. Let me unmute you. Sorry. Go ahead, Ashley.
Okay. I chose the pictures because they showed the story well, and they were, yeah.
No, that's good. You thought that they retold the story well. Which pictures showed symbolism for you?
Maybe the a picture of the brown bomber because like it's a symbol of their road trip, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. So why did you choose the soundtrack that you chose?
Because it was in the travel section, um, and I guess I just liked the music and I thought it went well with the story.
Okay, very good. All right. Jeremy, are you ready to present yours? Yes, he is. Okay, Jeremy, I'm going to make you the presenter. Okay, so your screen is going to come up for us. Okay. If you go ahead and click produce, it'll go a little faster. I know it takes a minute. Patience is not my strong point, but okay, here we go. Okay, make sure your volume is on. All right, Jeremy. So that was pretty good. Jeremy, can you just make sure that your volume's on and we can maybe watch it one more time? Um, that would be great. It's only 30 seconds, so not a big deal. Why don't you push play again? Make sure, see that little thing that looks like, yeah, there you go. Yep, there, yep, click it all. There you go. All right. Awesome. Jeremy, I have a compliment for you right away. I really liked how you the text that you used, that line about this trip would change the family. It did. It was a really important trip for the family. How did it change them, Jeremy?
No. Wow. Byron started to like Kenny after he
Yeah, it
said,
definitely changed the relationship between the brothers, that's for sure.
yeah, it kind
Um,
of closer together.
right. Very good. Any other compliments for Jeremy? And Corbin says that he liked the soundtrack and the pictures that you chose. Um, yeah, I think you did a good job, Jeremy. Did you have any symbolism that you used?
I don't think so, at least.
Did you have an image that stood for something else? Maybe the greater theme of your novel.
I think.
What about the images of the map that you used?
Yeah, I thought that'd be great to add in. So when there's to show where they were traveling.
Okay. To show that it was a journey that they were on together. That's good.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So this, and let's see, I got one more comment. And Kaylee said that she thought that it really retold the story from beginning to end. That's perfect. Thanks for typing into the chat, even if it's a private message. I appreciate that. All right, guys. So a couple questions for the entire class. So these questions are for everybody. What did you learn about the importance of family in this book? And your microphones are on, so you can just you could just speak up or you can type into the chat. Anybody have any thoughts on that? That was one of the important themes from the book, the importance of family, and also about the struggles that people faced in the civil rights era. And I got a couple messages. Ashley says that they will always be on your side and help you no matter what danger it puts them in. Ashley, can you give me an example of the danger?
I know the whirlpool thing wasn't real, but Byron saved Kenny
Yeah, absolutely
from
so.
whirlpool.
That's right. So that was definitely an example of how they were protecting each other. What about the bombing, though, that happened in Birmingham? What kind of danger did they face there, and how did they deal with it as a family?
Um, well, can you ask the question again?
Sure, the bombing that they faced in Birmingham and that they experienced. How did they deal with that as a family together?
Well, they helped each other out to make sure that they all were got out of it safely and not no one was left behind.
That's exactly right. And I have about 4 messages from the chat that I'm going to read. Keely S. said that she learned that you should respect your family, even though the relationship between the brothers was sometimes kind of rocky. And then Corbin said that your family will always be there for you. That's what he learned. And then Jeremy sent a message that they go to extreme measures to keep each other safe. And that was definitely apparent in this book. Very good. So let's talk a little bit about the other theme, um, the civil rights era. What did you guys learn about the civil rights era and the struggles from this book? And again, anybody can go ahead and speak up or you can type into the chat. So, what did you learn about the civil rights era and the struggles that this family faced, as well as many other families? Okay. Looks like I'm getting some messages, a private message here. Um, Jeremy says that it was hard for them to live. What do you mean by that, Jeremy? Do you mean it was that they had different challenges that other people like? Can you just explain it a little more? How was it hard for them to
That was
live?
hard for them to in like a. Hmm. It was just hard for make money back then too. To be
Yeah,
fair.
that was definitely an important theme that wove into the book there. That it was harder for them to make money, and so they definitely struggled more than maybe some other people did at that time. Very good. All right, guys, this is another question for the entire class. Um, what kind of connections can you make to this book? Maybe it's a text to self. Maybe it's a text to world connection. It looks like we're being shy today and we all turned off our webcams. So it looks like we're preferring to use the chat right now, but your microphones are on, so you can speak up at any time. Kaylee S., she said, her little sister is a lot like Joetta. Kaylee, can you explain that a little more?
Sorry. My little sister is a lot like Jonah because she's like very polite and doesn't really know what's going on around the world and stuff like that.
Oh, well, that's sweet. Yeah, and Joetta, of course, was the younger sister for those of you who might be wondering. And Ashley, oh, actually, wait, I got another one from Corbin. Corbin has made the connection that Byron is mean to Kenny sometimes, and my brother Chase is sometimes mean to me. So that's a text to self connection that everybody can probably relate to some of those family struggles with fighting with a brother or fighting with your sisters. And Ashley made the connection that sometime this week he's going to drive to Iowa, probably on Wednesday. So you're making the connection to a long road trip. That's good. Okay. And Jeremy has made a connection that his little sister is also like Joetta. Very good. And then Ashley, you just typed into the chat 10 hours. Can you explain that a little bit more, Ashley?
The road trip I'm taking is going to be 10 hours.
Oh boy, that's going to be a long one. Yeah, so all of you guys have made some really good connections, text to self type of connections. What about let's think a little bit deeper and go text to world and the struggles. Let's focus on the civil rights era part of this book and the struggles that that the family faced. Can you think of anything that's going on in the world right now where people are maybe treated unfairly? I'm going to let you guys think about that for just a second. I just got a message from Jordan who said for some odd reason she couldn't get the VC to open, and I was kind of wondering, Jordan, because we had missed you, and I wanted to see your presentation. So Jordan, I have your presentation actually in Edmodo ready to go. So I'm going to go ahead and share that with us, with our class. I'm sorry you couldn't get in earlier. I don't know what was happening. I am getting a lot of feedback today, so maybe it's just one of those days. All right. And Ashley, that's a good connection. I will come back to that and share it after we watch the video from Jordan. Here we go. All right, Jordan, that was really good. Can you tell me why you chose the images that you chose?
Because for some reason, I don't know why, they just reminded me of, like, Kenny and, like, the civil rights, picture, because, I don't,
No,
oh
that
yeah, like, Kenny was in that time of the civil rights, for the blacks,
right.
and, then his family, just because, him and his family were mainly in the book.
Absolutely.
And
And that was the question I was about to ask you next. Did you communicate any symbolism in your presentation, and what image did that for you?
um, yeah, so, I think he wanted me to present this, what I put on Edmodo too. So it showed symbolism by using the picture of the, or I showed symbolism by using the picture of the black and white people fighting to show the civil rights movement.
That's right, to show the struggles. I mean, this, and you can see it right here on your screen or on the screen. This picture is definitely not from the book. This is a picture that you went out and actually found that you thought was a good representation of the struggles that were being told in the book and that everybody faced during that time period. That's really good. And Kaylee S is giving you the compliment. Um, I don't know why you guys are sending me private chats today. You can send an entire audience compliment, but she said that it showed a lot of symbolism. I agree. And I had one more question for you, Jordan. Why did you choose the soundtrack that you chose?
Because it just kind of reminded me of um, Kenny, and especially the beginning picture when he's smiling, and with um, and his family. Like sometimes they were happy, but then other times they were like, well, mostly Kenny's whole family was happy except for his brother Byron, who
Yeah.
was, you know.
Right. No, that's good because you it was an upbeat type of soundtrack. So you definitely showed how strong of a family they were and that they had a lot of connections and most of the time they were pretty happy. But then you kind of contrasted it with some pretty serious pictures. So that was really good. All right. And I'll ask the question again because I was talking about this right as you came into the virtual classroom. But can anybody give us any more connections to the book? And I'll read the last couple that I've received. Kaylee S says there's been a lot of gun violence lately. And so she's making the connection to the violence that sometimes, unfortunately, people faced in the civil rights era when they were fighting for, the causes that they believed in. And right now, the gun violence that we're facing as well. I think the reasons are different for the gun violence, but yeah, it is still it's still upsetting and it's still there. All right. Um, and Ashley said she doesn't remember the country, but if women showed their skin, men have the right to throw rocks at them until they die. Okay, so yes, those are some of the Middle Eastern countries. And so she's making the connection to the struggles that women face in other parts of the not country, women face in other parts of the world compared to the struggles that African Americans faced in the civil rights era. So that's a really good connection. Perfect. Any other thoughts? Have any of you personally ever faced something? I know you haven't faced anything probably, this serious, but something in your life where maybe you thought things weren't fair or things weren't equal. Anybody have an example? Ooh, getting a lot of feedback. I'm going to go ahead and mute you. And I got a couple more messages coming in. One time, a friend got a doll that I wanted, and she thought that that was unfair. Okay, so maybe that was just an example of, you didn't get what you wanted. And a lot of times, I mean, you could kind of make the connection here that the African American people weren't getting what they wanted on a much more serious level. Kaylee S has sent me the message that when her brother does something and she gets in trouble for it, um, yeah, absolutely. That's an example of when things are not fair. And so everybody kind of in their own life can relate to that feeling. It's not a good feeling. All right. So we are to that point where we're about to wrap everything up for the day. I want to thank all of you for coming and taking this risk with me as we worked on these world-class outcomes and really used our creativity. So today we've communicated our ideas together and we've collaborated and dug into the theme of our book. We've had a lot of discussions about questions that I brought up as well as questions that you created. And today you were really able to show your creativity. So that was perfect. Any other thoughts before I let you go for today? No? Okay, well then on Thursday I will see you and we will do a little bit of TCAP prep, and it'll be a little bit different of a day, but it'll be fun because all of the grade levels will be together at once. All right, but if you would like to, you could turn on your webcam and give everybody a wave goodbye or just type goodbye into the chat. All right, goodbye. Have a happy Monday. Stay safe. Bye.